I'm impatient. I'm saying, are you 5'10" in your Cuban heels or without them? In Love Island, this guy I was seeing, I chucked his shoes over the infinity pool. I couldn't see them anymore. They were looking like croissants, and I was like, no.
This is the Truth Flirts with me, Mel B, a brutally honest podcast all about the highs and lows of dating. This series is brought to you by dating app Badoo, the place to date honestly. Today we're talking body shaming, porn, waxing and self-love in an episode that we're calling Never Mind the Botox. As always, I'm joined by two people with plenty to say on the matter. First, I'd like to welcome Barton Hanson, who starred in 2018's series of Love Island and has since appeared on a number of shows, including The Full Monty. Also joining us is Chidera Eggerue, who some might know as the Slumflower. She's a writer and fashion blogger whose book, What a Time to Be Alone, won acclaim when it was released last year. She also founded the hashtag Saggy Boobs Matter, which challenges our understanding of the ideal body. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Well, listen, let's get straight into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is first dates. Ooh. Do you feel pressured into looking a certain way or acting a certain way?
I feel like on first dates, I do get super nervous. Like, I have mad anxiety anyway, so right. I'm always like a little bit nervous. But I think just address it. I always like say to the date, I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous. And then it kind of like clears it rather than me like picking up a drink and shaking a little bit. I'm like, I get really nervous.
So what do you do to prepare for that then? Do you take like a long bath? Do you get your hair and makeup and nails done to just kind of relax a little bit?
I try and feel sassy, but I wouldn't like get proper dressed up. I want them to like me for me. So I just kind of, and also trying to look sexy but not trying too hard. Look, I always go for it, which also is a lot of planning and effort, but I just try and make it look like I've just like thrown it on in 5 minutes and haven't thought about it.
I like that. How about you?
I'm the same. I do get those nerves, but I have to always remind myself, because I date men, I have to remind myself that he should be more nervous than me because he's the one that needs to hope that I like him. I feel like as women who do date men, there tends to be this whole preparation in your mind of, I hope my perfume is alluring enough. I hope this dress doesn't give away too much. I hope I'm not trying too hard, like you said, Megan, because I have that fear of coming across as though I've tried too hard. Because what I tend to do for a first date is to still dress cute and communicate that, you know, I'm a person that takes care of their self and loves to look good.
And then when you've turned up for the dates, like ahead of the date, are you worried that the guy's not going to look like his picture? Or has that ever actually happened to you before where you've shown up and gone, you look nothing like what I just was looking at you on my phone?
Well, funny enough, most times when guys, I found it's always 5'10". When they put 5'10" in their bio, please read that as 5'9". And for me as well, I wear heels. So I'm 5'7", my natural standing height. I normally wear heels that are like 4 or 5 inches. So by the time I'm in my shoes and my hair, I've got an afro, I look like 6'1". So for me, I like my guys that are like 6'1" and up, so that when I'm wearing heels, it's still balanced out, because that for me matters.
So has it happened where they've turned up and they're way shorter than they've said? So what do you do in that situation?
I just, after I leave that date,
you never see them again?
I unmatch them. Yeah, they don't see me, because I don't trade numbers until after the date.
Really?
So she has lots of rules. We need to get into these rules in a second.
So many safety protection mechanisms. Like, just, yeah. And I learned that from this woman called Imani. And she's a dating coach. And she's always said, never, ever, ever trade numbers on dating apps until afterwards. Because if you think about all the guys you've met on dating apps and they all had your number.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh my God, the fodder in your phone.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness. I have a separate phone, a cheap smartphone that I've bought that can run...
A burner phone, we call it.
A burner phone that has access to Wi-Fi. And that's the phone number that I give to men. And that phone stays at home.
Right.
If they're texting me, Lord knows what they're texting me. It's only when I come home after my day, after I've put myself first, I then check what they've said. And it really humbles them, because they only see when I speak to them, which means they know I'm busy. That means that when they do text me, they need to have something good to say, not asking me, what are you doing?
So you've already set the boundaries and they don't even know it yet.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, you need to teach me the ways. I'm so impatient. Literally, on dating apps, I'm like... I'll message her a bit. I'll be like, here's my number. We're going to meet up. Because I can't...
Straight away?
I can't deal with the back and forth.
You can't do that.
Back and forth, like, pointless chat. Like, I don't care what you've been up to. We're going to meet. Because I know in the first 10 minutes, when I see someone, if I fancy them or not. And I just think, what's the point of going on for days and days?
But sometimes that build-up is what is the sexiest part. And then hopefully when you meet them, they do look the same and they do act the same. Has it ever happened to you where they completely don't look the same?
Yeah, but I tell them, like I said, I'm impatient. I'm saying, are you 5'10" in your Cuban heels or without them?
Cuban heels. She came for the Cuban heels. Oh my gosh, you've exposed them.
That leads to my next question. Have you ever been put off by somebody's footwear on a date?
Yes.
You know, some girls are very particular about what their guy or girl wears.
In Love Island, this guy I was seeing, I chucked his shoes over the infinity pool. I couldn't see them anymore. They were looking like croissants. And I was like, no, you
Croissant
can't.
shoes.
So you have a foot thing, you have a height thing.
Definitely a height thing. So for me, you do have to be tall because there are so many tall men. It's like, if you're not tall, then it's not you. Fair enough. Someone else is more than willing to accept you in their life, just not me. Right. My love is not for you.
But what if they're an amazing personality and they had every single look thing going on and they were just short? Would that be a complete and utter
he can be my friend
deal breaker? So it's a deal breaker there.
He can be my friend. Yeah, we're just not doing that because it's not going to entice me. I can't be turned on.
Right. And then on a first date, how much do you reveal about yourself?
Ooh, I love
do you
this
do
question.
A lot of the talking, or do you let them talk? Or are there certain pointers that you have to get across and they have to get across to you?
I'm very honest. My mum says I'm too honest in certain situations. She's like, Meg, you don't have to share everything. But I am a massive oversharer. It's just part of me. And I think because I've had such a colourful past and I've been a stripper, I've done this, I've done that, I think I just want to tell them now. I don't want to have like 2 dates, 3 dates and they really like me. I'm like, oh, by the way, I used to do webcam or I used to be a stripper. And they're like, oh. So I just, as soon as I meet them,
all out there.
I'm like, yeah, this is me. Either take it or leave it.
I see like a date with a man as me attending a job interview and he's the applicant. And I'm looking at his CV, which is the dating profile.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
I'm looking at him and I'm seeing, does this person have the credentials to make me happy? Because if you're not going to make me happy, I'm genuinely good on my own. I have great friends around me. I have male friends who can make me happy. But the type of happiness that I want in a romantic capacity does involve you being financially generous, does involve you being the type of man that enjoys making women happy, because you understand that existing in a world like this as women is hard enough. For every dollar a man makes, we make 79 cents.
Yeah.
So that means that they need to pay it forward and they need to be all over us. I want to be spoiled. I want all the kisses. It can happen for us.
Oh my God, I love you. Please teach me.
It can happen for us. And I want so many women to understand that.
But then it'll be worth it at the end of the day.
It'll be worth it because you're not going to be receiving what you do in text. You're going to be receiving what size do you want. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Men do wrap their masculinity around their money. I'm very, very careful about telling them what I do. I say to them, oh, I'm just a writer who's just gone freelance, which means don't look at me. I am not rich. Don't ask me to go halves on anything, which we'll go into later.
So your advice is don't give anything away, even if they think, or even if you think that they know a lot about you, to just play it back a little bit.
Package yourself carefully. Because
so how do you feel about that?
I'm
Could you do that moving forward?
Literally, I'm newly single. I'm going into my next date. I'm not going to tell them what I've done. Like you said, they need to earn that. I'm not going to tell them.
Your story.
Like, right, this was me. I done webcam. I done stripping. I done reality TV. No.
Too much.
No.
Too much.
They can wait, and when they earn it, then I'll tell them. In past relationships, always the reason they've cheated is because I'm insecure. How do you think I feel when you're going out and you're stripping and you're doing this and you're taking your clothes off for someone else? I'm like, so I kind of, when I go on a date, I'm like, okay, just to let you know, I do this. This is part of me. Yeah,
but
I shouldn't have to explain.
On that first date, looks are everything because that's the first thing that you see in each other. So do you feel pressure to be a certain weight or a certain hair done a certain way? Like, do you feel pressure on how you present yourself out the gate on that first date?
Not really, because it's so new and it's like, this is me. If you like me at a size 12, if you like me at a size 14 or a size 10, this is me. Right. I think it's when people get comfortable, then they start to like, I've had exes and they're like, oh, you're putting on a bit of weight now. Do you want to go to the gym? And I'm like,
and how far into the relationship has that happened to you before?
Maybe like 6 months.
All right, okay. See, I completely disagree with that. And there are some men out there and some women that as soon as they start dating and they see their other half putting on a little bit of weight, they'll either dump them or make a point of saying to them, you've put on weight, get back to what you used to look like. Which I think's out of order and very rude.
Because when I eat when I'm happy, like I wouldn't, if I was like, the only time I lose weight is post breakup or when I'm stressed.
Yes.
So I put on weight because I'm happy and I'm living my best life.
I've experienced that too with guys trying to mold me into what I'm not. And that was what inspired me to wake up one day and decide I've had enough. And I feel like the day that you've had enough will be the most important day of your life. And no one can take you to that day. It's only you that will take yourself there and realize I've had enough. I want my life to look different. And I know this can happen for me. And so with me, I decided, okay, you know what? No more younger guys. We're not doing that. I'm now dating guys that are minimum 10 years older than me. I like being the younger one.
Right.
I like to be the younger
10
one.
10 years or up.
Definitely.
Wow.
I like to instill fear.
And so can you tell that by a picture, or do you believe, I'm going to ignore that bit. Can you tell that by their profile picture? You know, sometimes people put body picture shots on there. How do you feel about that?
What, like topless?
That's a
No,
no.
well, we'll get to that bit in a second. But the way that they look, do you approve putting a full body picture of yourself, or vice versa, receiving that?
Well, for me personally, I expect what I give off. So with my dating profile, I've made sure that there is a full body picture of me, a picture of like a selfie of my face, so you know what I look like up close. And I've got very natural looking makeup. So no like cut crease, glitter eyeshadow, just very natural looking, but it's a natural beat. I've also got one picture.
I like that.
One picture of me on vacation somewhere, so you know she's the type that likes to get flights and she likes trips.
Right.
And then another photo of me in like a restaurant in Mayfair. So what I'm using my dating profile to do is to non-verbally communicate, I'm not the one that you ask for a park date. If you want access to me, I need to feel safe around you.
Yeah.
And that safety comes from you making grand gestures to prove that you're going to be around for a very long time.
Right.
And that means you parting ways with your money in my name.
And how about you? How do you feel about the full body shots? Or what's your profile pictures look like when you've gone onto dating apps?
I'm so bad. Considering I'm supposed to be an influencer, I hate taking selfies. So I just use pictures what are on my Instagram. So I don't really, I don't
What
care.
kind of pictures are on your Instagram?
Just ones I'm getting paid for. Like, I'm not really girly, so I don't like sit there and take like loads and loads of pictures. I'll be like, oh, I'm
But
looking
do you
cute
do like
today.
the close-up so they know what you look like? Then you do the half measure, then the full body so they can get a picture of what you actually do look
I think
like?
I put a full body on and just like the face, but I don't know. If it was a guy, I've dated chubby guys, I've dated skinny guys, I've dated long hair guys, I've dated all time. Like for me, it's more personality.
Go in the same way that you think of them? Does that go how you think of yourself? So you don't mind if you're a little bit curvier or a little bit skinnier or chubbier? Do you feel like dating on an app gives you added pressure or not?
I guess because everyone, like you said earlier, everyone is just judging each other on looks.
We all have our unique set of insecurities, but I still believe that, like, I have a friend, she's fat, visibly fat, and she's out here bossing men around. There are men that love her and adore her, and the point I'm making is that...
She's confident,
yeah, it's not even about what you look like. I know this sounds cliche, but it's like, what are you exuding? Are you making these men work hard for your approval? Because it's less about how you look and more about how you're making that man feel. I don't believe that your size should stop you, because remember that this size thing is very Western. In parts of the world that are more Eastern, like even historically, a lot of the goddesses and a lot of the women who were powerful, they were massive, strong, big thighs, like watermelon crushing thighs type big thighs. And these men were scared of them and giving them everything, all their offerings. And I feel like we need to reimagine ourselves as goddesses, but really believe yourself.
Have you adjusted any of your profiles on apps to like attract this more or attract that more, or even just lie a little bit about yourself or what you want out of somebody or the person that you are? That's a long question, but you can answer it in a nutshell, I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously when I was still stripping and I was on dating apps, I put my job description as a legal PA. I used to be that like
Very smart.
10 years ago.
Very smart.
But I just put it because I don't want to say model, or they don't, like what you said, they don't deserve to know. But then as soon as I get there, I get nervous. I'm like,
But I mean, from the get-go, because I've got a friend of mine and she is constantly face-tuning every single one of her pictures and putting a filter on here and a filter on there. Then you meet her in real life and she looks still gorgeous, but not what she looks like on her app or even on her Instagram. Have you ever done that?
I personally don't use Facetune, But I'm not against women who do use Facetune or do choose to alter their bodies because...
Or put a filter on it.
Well, the thing is,
put it in black and white.
As long as the filter isn't like, you know, like the Snapchat filter with the flower headband, the filter that's got like so many things moving around.
I've used that a lot. I
avoid that because people think you're a catfish. When they see that, they might think, oh, this is like a stolen account or something. But if it's like a little smudge here and there, do your thing because these guys be lying too.
We're going to take a short break now to talk about Badoo. Badoo believe there is nothing more attractive than honesty. It's why the app encourages people to be genuine, upfront and honest in their profiles, as that's how great relationships are built. Have you ever felt a genuine connection with someone and then they disappear into thin air? That, my friends, is what you call a Casper, the not-so-friendly ghost. Badoo are trying to stop ghosting from happening, full stop. You and your match will get a friendly prompt if you've been messaging and then abruptly stopped, so you can both get the answers you need. Download the app now and give it a go. I want to talk about the initial thing, like when you first meet that person, because looks are important on some degree. You have to have that kind of chemistry. And now a lot of people these days, apart from doing face tuning and altering their looks with the filters and they're making themselves either thinner or curvier, people are now opting to do surgery as well as doing the thing that they can just do on the app. How do you feel about that?
For me, I got so much stick before Love Island. At school, I was bullied for my appearance, the way I looked. I had like sticky out ears and a big nose, and people would be like constantly saying horrible things. Like I remember, and it must have, or it clearly has stuck in my head. I was in assembly and I was sitting next to my best friend and she was beautiful. And a boy turned around and was like, look at Megan. And then, I don't know, say for example, Olivia, look at Olivia, no comparison. Olivia's so much hotter. It literally...
And how old were you then?
I was in secondary school, so I must have only been... I don't know, 13, 14, 15. But my heart, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? So as soon as I started earning money, and that's what drove me to stripping, to be honest, because I didn't have much money. I had a boob job at 19. Then I started stripping and I was like, right, once I get all this money, I come from a poor family. I was like, once I get all this money, I can fix myself. I'm going to be this beautiful person. And I thought that would then make me a confident person, but it wasn't at all. So I fixed the outside shell, but inside I was still this insecure, ugly, like bullied, shy girl. So I think, like if you want to do surgery, do it for you, don't do it for anyone else, and don't apologise because like I said, I was bullied before surgery. I've now, since I've left the villa, I had so much stick for being like, you're fake, you're plastic, all of this.
So do you wish that you hadn't done the surgery until you got the confidence and then done it? Like what's your thoughts on how the process that you've gone through? Having known what you know now. I
don't regret doing it, but I just wish someone at a young age was like, Meg, you can change the outside shell and you can be however you want to look in the mirror. If you want this size boobs, if you want a smaller nose or a thinner nose or bigger lips, it's not going to make you inside be happy. It was years and years of therapy. And I'm not promoting cosmetic surgery. I'm not saying go and do this and that. I'm saying do it, but only for you, but definitely do therapy and stuff alongside it or before, because changing the outside shell is not going to change how you wake. Like you said, when you start your mornings, you're not going to wake up and like jump out of bed and be happy just because you got bigger tits.
Right, yeah.
What I find fascinating is, because I created this viral movement called #SaggyBoobsMatter, but I'm still 100% in support of surgery because like you, I'm not promoting surgery, but surgery has such different meanings for different people. And I feel like the problem I have with the surgery conversation is that it's very low-hanging fruit. We tend to interrogate people who have had surgery and we tend to be like, wow, is your self-esteem that low that you had to change yourself?
Why is that, though? Actually, is it because people don't understand why they've done it in the first place, or are they jealous, or do they wish that they'd done it? You know, to comment on somebody else's looks just because they've had surgery, I think is very mean and a bit kind of shame on you for even taking that time out to comment.
But you know what? It comes from the fact that we would rather interrogate people who have surgery than to interrogate a world that even makes people want to change themselves, because the conversation is not about surgery. It's about why isn't there a world where we are accepting? Because remember that for some people, especially trans people and non-binary people, surgery is identity affirming for them. Yeah. So maybe like getting their breasts enlarged or even removed, that has such different connotations, but we tend to exclude that from the conversation of surgery because it is largely misogynistic. The conversation about surgery is always about well, you know, as a woman, I feel like you're just very vapid and you shouldn't have done that. But you wouldn't go to a trans person and be like, you know,
why are you changing your
body?
Why
are you changing your body? Why are you getting hormones and why are you getting implants? Well, actually, I'm getting hormones and implants because it's identity affirming for me and I'm rebalancing my relationship with my body. But for the most part, there isn't a single person on this planet that is 100% happy with their existence because there are so many clashing messages.
I am actually.
Oh, except for
I am
Mel.
44. It took me a long time to get there.
You've earned the right to be 100% proud of yourself.
Bit by bit by bit. Now, there's something that you mentioned earlier about size.
Yes.
Does size matter? I'm talking about on a man.
For me, yes, as long as it's not tiny. It doesn't have to be like a horse's genitals. Like, it just doesn't have to be humongous.
But how do they change it if it's tiny apart from surgery?
Oh, that's their problem. I don't know about that. There is someone for everyone. Because some women actually have like shallower vaginas. So they have much shorter vaginas than other women. So that means that for a man who might not be as big, that could be his perfect equal. Yeah. And I'm happy for him whenever he finds that person, but it's just not going to be me.
Right. How do you feel about that? We can talk about this, it's fine.
I did date a guy in LA actually, and he was quite chubby, so I think like his willy was like extra short where he was big, so it kind of got sucked in. But because I liked him so much, it didn't really matter.
Imagine if guys had that attitude towards us where they were like, you know, she was fat and she wasn't anything that I would go for, but I just loved her as a person.
But there are people out there like that. I do believe there are people out there like that.
I believe too, but not enough. Statistically, the men that think like that are disproportionately fewer than the women that think like that.
I agree, but don't you think we're just built differently? Like you're saying, you're 24, you're thinking about kids and your future. I'm 25, I'm thinking about that. Whereas men, when they're on dating apps, they're just like, oh, she's fit.
Getting their dick wet.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, she's fit, could bang her.
Yeah, imagine men being like, you know what, she seems like a lovely person. We could have some kids in future.
We're just built differently.
So differently. Which is why we have to now
educate the men.
Men are literally, these people can brush past a doorknob and get hard. So that means that they are woken up by their desire to have sex. It is primal, and our existence as a civilization relies on that primal instinct. So if it means that all women were to be like, you know what, no more sex with men forever, men are going to end up out of their primal instinct doing what is required. If all women were like, I'm not having sex with you until I get a car, every man suddenly buying a car. It's like, I know the car is a funny example, but what I'm trying to say is that we dictate what goes down around here.
But that is a heterosexual relationship. Now,
Definitely.
I've dated women before, and I do think that dating women is very different to dating men.
I'm really curious to
on
hear
many
about
different
your
levels.
perspective on dating
Can we
women?
talk about the fact that you have dated or did date a woman?
Yeah.
How is it different for you?
Definitely with girls, it's so much more deeper. Like when you go on a first date with a guy, it will be very just
light
a bit of banter.
fluffy.
Yeah, a bit of banter, and you're like just joking, nothing to. With a girl, first date, you're like, you know about the ex, you know about the ex, you know about what you want to do in like 10 years, 5. It's just a lot. So this was literally like my first ever relationship with a girl. And it was only 2 months, but it was so much deeper than I've ever had with any guy. I've had 3 serious relationships with guys, but the 2 months I spent with this girl, it was just so intense. Like,
why is that? Is that because it is a woman and we are more inquisitive and we want to know things on the inside and out immediately and get that instant connection?
Definitely. And I think girls are more romantic. Like, we love all of that. So I've never had that with a guy. But for me, it was really hard. Like, I see myself, I'm not like a super girly girl. And she was like, oh, just tell me something romantic or be like this. And with men, all you've got to say is, oh my God, your dick looks big, or like just sit on their dick and they're happy. But with a girl, I had to be like, oh my God, babe, you look so beautiful today. It's a learning curve, but it was nice. I definitely do. I'd say I prefer dating girls.
Right,
it's more romantic and cutesy.
It is. I mean, I've done both. I've been married 3 times. I've got 3 beautiful daughters. Yeah, I had a 5-year relationship with a woman. And that was an intense 5 years, but it was actually a really beautiful 5 years. We barely kind of argued because we both kind of thought the same. We both wanted the same out of life. And it was really interesting when I actually compare it to my other relationships. Very, very interesting.
How old was you when you had this relationship with the girl?
God, I was about 26.
Same as me, I'm 25.
Yeah.
But I can't ever see myself getting back with a guy. Like, even now when I watch porn, it's only lesbian porn. I can't even look at a dick.
But lesbian porn is way more sensual, I think, anyway. It isn't just nicer and kinder.
I find this so fascinating to hear as someone who still dates men, because, like, I am in that place where I don't even feel sexually... Like, I don't feel driven by my sexual urges when it comes to my interactions with men, because I meet a lot of women who are like, but how do you do it? I'm like so horny all the time. I just want to, have friends with benefits. Oh my God, men. With me, it's like, I sometimes question if I'm asexual because
But you've never been with a girl?
I've never been with a girl.
Never dated a girl either?
Never dated a girl, no. But I feel very weirdly placed on the spectrum of asexuality because I just don't feel the urgency everybody feels of dating men. It's like, I'm so good with my own company and I've got great toys. So it's like, men have really got to come with something worth leaving the house for.
Having said that, then, would you ever be open to even dating a girl?
At the moment, I'm not open to it because I haven't tapped into that side of myself yet, but it's not something that I'm against. I would approach dating a woman with a lot more
compassion, maybe?
Then I don't have that much compassion for men because they don't
I think we get that.
They just haven't earned it from me. Like,
and I hope you all heard that loud and clear. Well, let's bring it back to us. So have you ever in a relationship had your significant other, your partner, comment on the way you look and the surgery that you've done?
Yeah, definitely. Because I met Where's my ex when I was in the villa, so he didn't know anything about that before. I didn't really discuss it. I think he gathered I had fake boobs and lip fillers, but other than that he didn't really know anything. And then when we come out, it was a massive whole media thing about Megan before and after, and I remember I had comments. People would be like, as soon as Wes realises what you look like, he'll leave you. And I was like so insecure. I was like, oh my God. So he did say like, oh, what have you had done? And I'll tell him I'm a very honest person. And same with any relationship, I think.
And how did that pan out? How did that conversation go?
It's awkward, of course, because I'm like, why does it matter what I've had done? Like, if you're in love with me now, why does it matter? But I am very honest and I'm unapologetic for what I've had done. So even with this girl I was dating, she was like, so what have you got? We've obviously got fake boobs. You had anything else done? I'm like, yeah, I had my nose done. I had my ears done. I've had my lips done. I've had my teeth done.
It's weird people are asking you this stuff like there's some sort of tax collectors. Like, why did it?
I know.
It's such a
People start, people are nosy. And don't you want, I mean, I want to know sometimes certain things about certain people that I'm dating. It's just curiosity. If you're probably going to find out anyway. So I'd rather just be honest and open from the very start.
I think it's
and then if they don't want to date you after that conversation, they weren't worth dating in the first place.
Tell them.
Yeah.
You know what I
I think
mean?
it's just the way people broach it. It's not like interrogation, like, what have you had done then? If she's like laying next to me and like playing with my boobs, she's like, so you got fake boobs, you had anything else done? And I'm like, oh yeah, I had this done. Do you know what I mean?
Has anybody ever walked away from you? I mean, you're gorgeous anyway. I don't know why they would. You seem like a lovely lady. But that hasn't been a deal breaker for anybody on the other
No, touch wood, no one's run away because I'm
good. So they
plastic.
shouldn't.
Bottom line is, if it's a deal breaker for them, that's their personal problem because something about you is always going to be, even if you were your complete natural self before your surgery, something about you would have still been a deal breaker.
For somebody else.
There's always going to be something in you that
actually,
someone doesn't like.
That's the only thing, dating a girl. Boys have never said anything, but this girl I was dating, she was like, I've looked at pictures of you before and you're still beautiful. I would have loved you then. I'm like, the girls are just different.
They are different. Very, very different. So how do we approach our own bodies? Do we do hair removal? Do we believe in waxing every couple of weeks, which is really painful? How do we approach our own bodies? That's what I want to ask you both.
So for me, I shave my armpits. Currently, I've got a very, very thriving bush. Had a bush for quite a while now, quite a few months.
I love how direct she just says that.
Oh, definitely.
Like, who hasn't? Come on.
Definitely. And for a lot of women, keeping a bush is like a deterrent. It allows them to control their own selves when they don't want to have sex with guys because they think guys hate the bush and all that stuff.
I don't think guys
a lot of
do.
women,
Guys, some guys love it, some guys don't like it so
Men
much. I
just
don't
say
think they're that
stuff.
bothered as long as they can
These people
get
are
down
desperate.
there somehow.
These people are desperate to get their dicks wet. You think a little hair is going to stop them. It's like, for me, I feel like if I want to shave, I'll shave. But for the most part, I'm not active. And I want to challenge myself. The next time I'm going to be active with a guy, I want to challenge myself to keep the bush in its full form. Right. Not even shaving near the entrance bit. Just keeping every hair where it is. And
I'm completely the opposite.
It's time for them to get hair in their mouth.
From head to toe. But it was out of convenience. Because,
but you're always on shoots, though.
So it was having to shave my legs or having to wax them and making that wax appointment. I just committed to getting lasered for about a good 6 months. Like religiously I did it. So now, never have to worry about shaving, never have to worry about, oh my God, my bikini line when I'm going on holiday. It's already done. And I've been like that now for a solid 9 years.
Do you like it?
I committed to it and I love it.
I've had 2 sessions because I'm really, really hairy.
Like, well, you have to keep up the sessions for it to work a long time.
I've had 2. I need to start again. But because I'm white, like I always go on sunbeds and they said you can't sunbed when you have laser and you can't fake tan when you have laser. So it's really tricky. But I am trying because I'm so naturally hairy.
But the amount of money that you spend on shaving and shaving cream and then having to commit to getting yourself wax or the strip wax, if you actually add all that up, it's worth getting lasered if you don't like your hair.
I've walked out of a Brazilian before. I'm not even a Brazilian.
Painful.
I don't know. When they take everything off, what's that called?
Yeah, a complete Brazilian.
Hollywood.
Is it called a Hollywood?
I walked out. I had
Maybe that's the landing strip.
half a haircut and I walked out. I was nearly crying. I was like, no. I was like, bye. No, I can't do it anymore. It's awful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I need to commit to the laser.
These are the lengths we go.
Because I literally shave my whole body. Like when I'm in the shower, I shave my arms, I shave my legs, I shave my nun, I shave my armpits.
But that's a commitment then. Like twice a week you have to do that?
Oh no, like every other day. I'm hairy.
God, that would do my head in.
My parents are
my
like
kids would be going,
so
Mummy,
I've got hair everywhere.
School run, hurry up. I'd be like, hold on a minute. Head to toe shaving. No.
Oh my goodness.
So let's talk about this. Sending each other nude pictures on dating apps. Are you down for it or not?
Definitely not.
Big
Why?
no. For me personally, it's like, if you're even able to see the hem of my pants, that means you've made it amongst all the other auditionees that were looking for my attention. That
so
comes very late. No, very late down the line. If I was going to send you a nude, then we are in a very committed relationship and that nude will lead to a very lovely treat for me. It's not a free nude. No free nudes. We're not doing that.
A present after that nude.
Absolutely.
How about you, Megan?
Definitely not on a dating app. Like I'm all for nudes. Like I love it. Like I watch a lot of porn. I'm very sexual, so I do love a nude. But when I'm with that person and it's exclusive, it's just us. I won't be sending them to a guy I've been dating for a week.
But then what happens if your ex, once you break up with them, they've got all these nudes? Are you not paranoid that those nudes are going to be sent out into the iCloud of somebody else?
That says more about them than it says about you.
Yeah,
that's true.
Honestly.
Hope not. And I have a lot of respect. I've had the most bitter breakups, but I've never been that person. And I hope because I have that respect for them and I don't share all of their details, they wouldn't do the same with me. And really, like you said, it reflects badly on them.
Honestly, it's more of a loss for them because that means other people won't trust them anymore, which means they lose out on pussy. They're stopping their own market. Yeah, like if you're going to be leaking my personal information, and that means that I can't trust, no one else can trust you with personal information.
True. Now, I don't mind like how my nudes look, but when somebody sends me a nude of themselves, I think it's really, I get a bit embarrassed.
I don't really get
if it's
sent
a guy,
any.
Like an angle, I just think, oh, why would you do that? How do you feel about that? Because I get totally embarrassed and freaked out by that.
I know it's sexist, but even just men taking selfies, they always have the set free. It's a bed selfie and they're in bed like that, or then they're at the gym and it's in the gym mirror, or then they're in their car and you've got to make sure you've got the Mercedes like. I'm like, oh no, hun, please. Girls nudes, girls selfies, I'm all about that. But boys, I'm like...
black and white, positioned nicely in the nice hotel bathroom. We're giving you everything. And guys will just be like...
So have you been sent those awkward nudes by guys?
Yeah, like many unsolicited. But I don't get those on dating apps because the kind of... like my profile is very, very, very strict. It's very like, I'm looking for a gentleman who knows how to take care of a woman. I like a man who wants to keep me happy. Like that really does repel the men who send unsolicited nudes. Right. So it kind of like sorts itself out.
Right, I don't think any male nude picture can look that hot. There's always a cringe factor to it.
And there's always set angles of dick pics, isn't there? Yeah. They've only got like 3 angles, and it's
and
like,
then as women, we always go like that to our girlfriends. Have you seen that? And we all laugh at it. Guys, you have to know that. Look, he's gone bright red over there.
Stop sending unsolicited nudes.
That is
I'm
funny.
greedy though. I like a video. If you're going to do it properly. I'm like, a short video.
We want a motion picture. With some sound effects as well. Get an audio.
No. Let's get on the topic of porn. when you watch porn, does that give you insecurity about yourself and how you think that you should look?
For me, I feel like porn has so many categories, which means that everybody can choose a particular category that they've best see themselves in. So there's categories like Ebony, which is containing black people. So for me personally, I feel like I understand that porn is work. Sex work is a job. So if your job is to create a particular narrative and fantasy, you're going to do that job. I know that these people are real people who have their own lives, and I don't feel the need to over-identify.
Look a certain way because of that.
Yeah, because I am on my own individual experience with my saggy boobs and my own bushy pubes and my afro. Like, my own combination of features is a unique experience in itself. And
that doesn't make you insecure at all, which is a good thing.
If I were to be a porn actress, I think I would thrive very well because I've got a unique set of features, and I feel like every woman should believe that because your body is different is why you thrive, not why you are having a hard time. It's the reason why you will thrive if you know how to harness every single inch of you.
But a lot of young guys and young girls are basing their sex moves and their sex life off porn. They are. That's a fact.
Yeah,
how about you?
That's so sad. Like, honestly, before I'd done anything sexual, I would look at porn and be like, oh, so that's what happens. And you're like, oh, okay, I must be like this, and have like the perfectly shaved nun and be like so skinny. But I don't know, I think as I've got older, I don't even watch all of the Hollywood fake with the cringy storylines at the beginning. I watch like the amateur people that are verified. I sound like such a porn expert.
No, but it's because you're supporting amateurs.
Make it look natural and actually believable.
Yeah, they're actual couples, which obviously they're still making money and they're doing different things for different people. But they're actually a couple who are in love, they live together. And for me, that's more attractive. I don't want to see some like stage stiff girl who's like really nervous.
Been told to arch her back and fling her hair back.
Yeah, and moan really loudly and act like he's amazing when really he's like got a fat gut, but he's just got a 10-inch willy. Like, I don't want to watch that.
There's something out there for everyone.
Absolutely.
Thank you both very much for joining me today. We're going to leave it right there. All out on the table.
Oh, thanks for having me. I've had such a great time.
Thank you.
Good. And to you, listener, please do subscribe to The Truth Flirts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast fix. And if you've liked what you've heard, then leave us a review. Join the conversation by following @Badoo UK on Instagram. And don't forget to download the app, where there's a world of honest daters waiting for you. Thank you very much for listening.